What's up, weebs? Welcome back to Melina, the podcast where we take you down the yellow brick road of anime and have a look at everything it has to offer. On today's episode, we're escaping the grip of Earth's gravity in Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam as we cover the final half of the series with episodes 26 through 50. Series direction and writing by Yoshiyuki Tomino, music by Shigeaki Sagasa, animation production by Sunrise. It originally aired from March 2nd, 1985 to February 22nd, 1986. It's licensed in the UK by Anime Limited and was licensed in the US by Nozma Entertainment. If you want to know a bit more about that, you can go listen to the first episode. I kind of covered the weird licensing situation for Gundam there. As always, I'm your host, Notorious, and joining me once again today is Shaun. Oh, okay, you kind of cut off. You might want to say hello again.
Okay. Hello, again. No cut off.
There we go. I was like, oh, are you building up to something? No, okay, you just cut off. Cool.
Great.
So yeah, we're here in the last half of Zeta, after covering...
The half where shit happens.
The half where shit happens, yeah. Because the first half, like, it's a lot of character introduction build up, sort of putting, you know, Kamille specifically through stuff that makes you mature a little bit.
Yeah, let's call it that. He's definitely not the whiner of this half.
No.
That honor goes to Katz.
And Fa. Because...
And Fa.
I don't know what they did.
That wasn't as annoying about it, though.
No, I have my big problem with how they did Fa in the second half, because she fulfilled a very kind of different role in the first half. She was the counterweight to Kamille. She was a balancing force to him. And
she also wasn't there for a good chunk of it. I need to
She also wasn't there, yes, but you know, when she was the more serious of her and Kamille, and the one more willing to listen to reason than Kamille. And then, you know, I can't remember if we see her pilot much in the first half, but like, she was fine. You know, she...
Yeah. When she did pop up, she was like, oh, it's cool to see you again.
Yeah. But like, when she started getting in the Metus, I don't know if that's how it's pronounced or not, but that one, the other gold one, I think.
No matter how we pronounce any of the mech names or maybe even character names, there's gonna be someone screaming at us that we're wrong.
Yeah.
So
it's fine. You can mispronounce Zeta or Jabberel quite as bad as a YouTube video I seen recently, but that's neither here nor there.
You cannot air this pain
No,
here, please.
But you know, she was an okay pilot. There was nothing particularly like bad about her piloting skills. She was just unexperienced, and then you know,
I was very happy that, like, oh wow, they've taken the like one of the main female characters from like the initial episode and didn't just stick her with a bunch of kids to be a teenage mom. They made her an actual pilot. I hope that continues on and grows. Who the fuck are these two?
Yeah, Char just comes back from Earth after our whole conversation about him just fucking being there. You know, and the last episode where he just spawns on Earth again suddenly. There's a whole set of episodes of him getting back to the Argama, and he just brings these fucking children with him, and suddenly it's like, hey, do you remember? I mean, like, I already talked about how the first half kind of does a little too much of ticking boxes of things the original series did, and then it brings in these two and makes father babysitter, and suddenly you just have like a repeat of Katzlet's and Kika from the original show with Fa becoming Frau for no fucking explicable reason, and then suddenly she's a bad pilot as well, and it's like, what?
Like, that happens, and then suddenly every character is like, you know, you're not actually that great a pilot. You should maybe think about just not, and just focus on taking care of these kids. And meanwhile, I'm watching these just like screaming, no, you had something interesting. What are you doing, show?
It also kind of bugs me that, like, she then just stops being reasonable from that point on. Like, whenever she's told not to do something or given like orders and stuff, like, she just almost always disobeys them. And like, okay, that's what Kamille did, and you were giving him shit for it, and now you're doing it. Be consistent, please.
Yeah, like, the roles just swap between them for like no real discernible reason other than do they try and justify it as just, oh, that's just our dynamic, we just do the opposite of what the other does?
They kind of play that as like their interpersonal dynamic, but not their dynamic with like other people. Like they're gonna do whatever's gonna piss the other one off, which they drop a solid like 10 episodes into this batch. Like,
yeah, like it does just sort of mend after a while.
yeah.
I do like that. It's like the show itself is going, okay, this shit's fucking annoying, let's just stop.
Yeah. Yeah, like they see someone die, and Fan Kamille are actually kind of like, oh, maybe.
They just get like the PTSD stare of, oh, this ain't good stuff anymore.
Yeah, I did see a review that I immediately stopped reading because they had like possibly the worst read on the second half possible, which was that at the end, you know, you have Camille's new type moment where he powers up the Zeta, and he sort of has
with the power of pink.
With the power of pink, and he gets the, you know, the pep talk from all those who have died that are now on his side.
Great moment, by the way.
Yeah, great moment. They do something similar in the original show, but like nowhere near as many people had died at that point, especially not new types, to have really given Amuro that kind of support. And so you end up more of like a weird like interaction with him and Lala before she dies. But here it's like, you know, he gets the people who he's come to know and for various reasons have died in the course of the conflict of with the Titans, whether they're a Titan or whether they are, you know, cats. Cats is actually the only one at that point. No, Emma's there as well. And but still, and someone was like, yeah, don't you love it when it ends with the apparitions of the four females that got fridged throughout the series? And I was like, oh, no, they didn't.
Not really.
I was like, oh, no. Because I was like, I was trying to think, and I was like, did anyone get fridged? And like, at least it showed up in that moment. Not really.
I mean, it kind of depends on like whether you define fridging as just solely, oh, a female character dying so that like another character can just have like development, or like if it's like a character only exists, a female character only exists to die and then further that development.
I mean, technically everyone in this show gets fridged.
Yeah,
then.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what exactly are we? What are the parameters of this definition?
Because if you're taking it at the, you know, where the definition comes from, which is a comic where I can't remember who it is. Green Lantern.
Is it Green Lantern? Yeah, it is Green Lantern.
Comes home, his girlfriend that just shoved in the fridge, and it literally exists just to motivate him, and that's sort of where this term
any
fridging.
sort of plot line they're setting up with her just gets like thrown away for his plot line.
Yeah. And like here I wouldn't say that any of the female characters necessarily had that. If anything, they're all tragedies for various different reasons.
Yeah,
it's just
they died for their own like storylines.
Yeah,
that, like, came to like their own end. Like Emma especially, like she had her whole thing throughout this whole this entire series that then just came to a really sad end. She was like my favorite character, so the fact that she died really hit me.
And like Kamille just happens to be there at the end of their stories and is actually trying to save them. He doesn't just
like 4 out of 5 times.
Yeah. Like even Rekoa, he's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't kill her. Like I'm sure we can convince her. And you know, Emma fucking. It's not Emma directly, but you get the point. So I was like, no, I don't know how you can fundamentally misread an entire 50 episode show like this to come away thinking that characters who were consistently throughout the entire 50 episode run who happened to die you know, I think the earliest one that shows up at that point is 4, because everyone else kind of died in the conflict at the end of the show, like Rosamia, Rekoa, Emma, Katz, and then yeah, four's the 5th one. Like 5 people turn up. Oh, and I'm forgetting Sarah.
Yeah.
But she shows up to try and stop him killing
Yeah.
Paptimus.
Sarah's the only one that's still like kind of an arsehole at the
Yeah.
end, and you're just like, can you not?
It's just like, I don't think that really fits to apply that to these people
No,
who
it's
have been...
it's really stretching, I'd say.
Yeah.
Definitely stretching, because none of those deaths are purely in service of like Camille's character development
Yeah.
or arc or whatever. It's a lot more in the sense of, wow, war sucks, am I right?
Yeah, like that is sort of the point of this, is it's like everyone survived that long and then immediately eat shit in the final battle because things are just at a wholly other kind of chaotic level, because now you've not just got the Titans, you've also got the Neo Zeon there as well. I don't think they're carrying that
That's
name
a great
quite
name
right at that time.
That is a great name, though. I love that. The Neo Zeon.
I think that might be what they start calling themselves in Double Zeta, because I don't think it ever gets mentioned here, or maybe it's an external like
The
lore
closest
thing.
like faction name you can sort of get is sort of Axis, but that's also the name of like the base.
Yeah, I guess technically you could call them the Axis at this point, and that was sort of also what...
They still keep calling them like the Axis as like a group, from what I could tell.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, have like this 3-way battle where everyone's out for themselves, and so like yeah, everyone kind of dies, and even Kamille doesn't come out of it unscathed. He's, you know, he kind of ends up in a vegetative state after this.
Definitely mentally broken. Is this the part where I can sort of share my initial reactions?
Yeah, go for it.
Just finished the final episode, so I want to say those final 2 episodes are great. Like a good finale. It's big bombastic. All the characters I wanted to see eat shit ate shit, so that was great. The ones I didn't want to eat shit also ate shit, and I was sad about it. So, you know, heavily dramatic stuff, really great. And then we get to that final bit when Kamille, you know, unlocks the shonen power that he's got now. I lovingly call it the pink power, because it is the pink power. That is the ultimate form of new types.
He called on the power of Mars. I can't remember which sailor is pink. Jupiter?
You'd think Mars would be red.
Mars would be red. Jupiter? Maybe? Uranus?
Hold on. Hold on. Bear with us, please.
You could tell that I have not watched Sailor Moon yet. I've seen like 3 episodes.
Sailor Mini Moon. She's very pink.
No, that's not what I'm thinking of.
I don't know Sailor Moon enough either. But like, yeah. He gets the superpower or whatever of like all the space ghosts.
Yes.
Completely fucking messes up Shirako's shit.
Pushes that shit right
Love
in.
That. Wish I hadn't seen that gif beforehand by accident.
I fucking knew. I was like, oh yeah. The one thing that shows up if you search for Shirako that isn't the Volkswagen car, if you put in like Paptimus Shirako or Shirako Gundam, the first gif that always comes back is his death. I was like, maybe I should say something.
I can see why that's a gif.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I should say something. And then I just forgot about it. Then I found out that you had seen it.
Yeah, I still hold, by the way, that's not your responsibility. I should have known just not look that up, because that's gonna be a risk no matter what.
But who expects just like the very first thing to come back when you put in a character's name is their death? Like, that's not what you expect. You put in, well, okay, Shard. I was gonna say Shard, but Shard doesn't really die, so.
Yeah, like, he's invincible, so he can. But I should know, just being on the internet long enough, that if you look up characters when you're like currently watching something, you're gonna get character death in like the first search, or just like anything like that. So I should have known. I say that's my fault more than anything.
I still could have forewarned you, and I just forgot to at some point.
Yeah, it's fine. You're forgiven. Anyway, my point is that happens, and then with the way it's kind of portrayed, and with all like the space ghost powers, I'm sure there's a better name for it, but I can't.
The new type stuff.
Yeah, like still, even just saying new type stuff feels like there's got to be a better name for that. But all that stuff, I thought like when we get to Fa and like she's like reacting to him, and like we're cutting to. First, we cut to Fa's like face, and then it cuts to Kamille like sort of slumped over with like his helmet sort of cracked. And then it cuts back to her shocked face, and then it cuts back to Kamille fine, like taking his helmet off and like saying whatever he's saying.
Yeah, talking
and
about
I
like.
Thought,
no, you finish.
I thought the implication was like, has he just been like fully absorbed into the space ghosts or whatever? Is he just dead now?
No, he sort of pays the ultimate price of killing Chirocco by becoming like, at this point in time, very like handicapped. But like we'll see it in whenever we come around to watching Double Zeta, but he does become like vegetative after this.
Oh, okay.
Like he fully just and it takes him a while to show back up in Double Zeta, and at that point he still can't really. He'll never pilot again. He'll never be like I hesitate to say the word fully functioning person because it sounds very ableist, but like you know, he'll be disabled for the rest of his life, I think is probably the fairest way to put it.
Which, like, now that when you explain that to me, I was like, oh, okay, that thematically that's awful, but like that's great storytelling.
Yeah,
and just all of the themes of like war being awful, like just coalescing that. I wish the ending had just, you know, gotten that across a little better for me.
The big problem with this is that Double Zeta started airing like a couple of months after this, so they were just fully going full steam ahead into the fact that the story doesn't stop here; it continues, and
so it's very much clearly not like fully maybe, but like just sort of a part 1, part 2 sort of situation.
Yeah, I would say so, because it doesn't really come through particularly, I think, strongly from the fandom perspective because of the very mixed reception of Double Zeta, but also the fact of like you have a double-pronged issue of the direct storyline continues into Double Zeta with Haman and the Neo Zeon and like all that sort of stuff, like the Argama, Bright, all these people stick around. Amuro and Char do not really come up again until Char's counterattack, and so you kind of have this weird thing of like you directly benefit from having seen Double Zeta, but a lot of people do just skip straight to Char's counterattack because technically you can get by without watching it.
Yeah, because you've talked to like me before about how, like, you know, I don't think I think you even said that you didn't watch Double Zeta.
I skipped Double Zeta originally. Yeah, I watched Zeta back in I finished it in 2019. I watched Char's counterattack like a couple of months after, and then I watched Double Zeta during lockdown in like 2021. So it was like a couple of years.
So I remember when you were watching Double Zeta and you were like, first half, oh, this is awful, to the second half, oh, this isn't as awful.
Yeah, no, the second half is genuinely some of the most peak Gundam that exists. It sucks that you need to get through that first half because it's a very tonal shift that I don't think, even if you know it's coming, you're just still not prepared for.
Oh, awesome. I can't wait till we eventually get to it.
So, yeah, it doesn't end here. There's a closure to the Titan conflict, what will become known as the Grips War. Gripes? You know, the colony.
I'm gonna be honest, there's a part of me that wanted to call it GURPS.
GURPS.
Like the fucking tabletop RPG system.
Yeah.
I know it's a Y, I don't care. GURPS.
So yeah, this will become known as the Grips conflict, which is just basically trying to dismantle the Titans. And from this bursts like the first Neo Zeon war, I think.
Okay.
Um,
First.
First. Don't worry about it.
First. World War One veteran like meeting time traveler and hearing it referred to as World War One.
Hey, is this the Second World War? What do you mean second?
We'll get to there, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. Who knows when, but we'll get there. We've talked a lot about what happens at the end, because a lot of stuff does happen at the end.
Yeah, I think it's like sort of the elephant in the room when you start talking about it, and it's definitely the freshest in my mind because I just sort of... I've heard so much hype about Zeta, just from you, but from other people at this point as well, and so I was kind of... I'm not going to say underwhelmed, but I will say I was kind of shocked that I just kind of got to the last episode and was like, huh?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, you kind of go into watching it, and I think it's, you know, if you've watched, if you really like the original Gundam, and then, you know, that has that ending where kind of like no one dies except side characters or the Zabi family, like pretty much everyone actually survives that.
It's a very sort of more typical heroic ending, I'd say. Like, not to continue making like Star Wars parallels because I am a Star Wars nerd and it's also currently still on my mind. I don't want to compare the two because they're two fundamentally different things, but it's like the original series ended on a very New Hope-esque sort of ending where, like, you know, or Return of the Jedi even, where like the main head of the bad guys are all gone as far as we know. Their base is destroyed or whatever, everything's hunky-dory and everything's gonna be okay, whereas this felt maybe not even Empire Strikes Back, but I'm not sure there was what the follow-up is.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, there is the parallel of like the original show kind of has that ending of like, you know, the Zabis are dead and Zeon capitulates, which is like, okay, we know where Tomino pulled that from. The whole first season's all about World War II and growing up in the shadow of that.
It's not subtle.
Yeah, and like Zeta's kind of like not Vietnam, but like, you know, a
much more grey conflict that like happened in the post-war era. You could probably put maybe even like what came out after Zeta and just what's happened since.
Yeah. And so you kind of have this like thing where I guess if you're, you know, thinking, oh, you know, I kind of know what Gundam is after seeing the original show, and you watch this and you're getting attached to all the characters, and then you have that moment of getting to the like second last episode and just like half the cast die, and then you get to the last episode and like the other half of the cast die too, and Kamille gets mentally wrecked, and it's like, oh, that's not the ending I thought would happen.
No. I mean, there was a part of me that was like, I was expecting deaths, because with how serious the war had been shown up to this point, I was expecting, you know, not everyone to make it out alive. I certainly didn't expect a Game of Thrones level sort of everyone's just fucking dead now thing, but
yeah.
I'm more just like lost on the sense of like, in terms of the wider universe, what the fuck happens from here? Because throughout the whole thing, I was sort of still struggling to get a grasp on just what everyone's position is.
Oh, okay.
Ideologically, I guess. They make a point to say that like many of these characters aren't very ideologically minded.
Yeah. Because
but at the same time, I'm like, then what are we doing this for?
So the whole kind of central conflict of it, which is the Titans aspect of it, comes from
like, I know they need to be stopped. They're arseholes, but
yeah. So they were originally meant to be the main force that were countering the remnants of the Zeon. Clearly, they did a fantastic job there, as we have seen. Evidently, that's
yeah, exactly. We've never come across any Zeon ever again.
But they basically just were like power hungry, megalomaniacal dickheads, and so they started wanting more and more sway within the Earth Federation. And then, we eventually see in around the midpoint of Zeta where they, like, fully just take over. Kind of, mostly. There's still remnants
Basically.
but basically they take over the power structure. And by that point, it's then, because of the way the Titans have been acting, a lot of the colonies don't want anything to do with them. There's already, tensions between the colonies and the Earth Federation.
Yeah, I mean that was proven way back just in like the original series.
Yeah, that's where Zeon comes from.
Zeon got their like fodder from, even though the ideology was what was the problem with them. We said this last time, where like the bare idea of just self-determination for colonies is just like, on the face, a noble goal.
Yeah. So the second half becomes about the Titans purely pursuing, like, we need to conquer all the colonies, we need to completely take over, like, essentially authoritarianism, dictatorship, you name it.
And I liked that because it showed a sort of parallel with Zeon, whereas like if that was the extremist version of the whole colony self-determination idea of taking that, the Titans were sort of the extremist ideology, very much the same but very Earth-focused version of that. That was great. It just felt like that wasn't focused on, like, in terms of the actual politics enough than what I was expecting.
I think it's because, like, I don't think that Zeta specifically, and not really, like, Double Zeta to, like, full extent either, are about, the political aspect of it. They're kind of more about the interpersonal, philosophical, like, what happens to people in war. It's a very kind of, I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. Like, let's focus on one aspect of it. It's Band of Brothers but anime, basically.
Yeah, like very much on the surface, not even just thinking about like the upper ideological sense, just more on the, what are the people who are actually fighting this experiencing, and what is their point of view. That's okay, that's cool, that makes sense. I guess for me, when it just comes to sci-fi, I kind of like the space politics part, because of course I do. I love the Star Wars prequels.
Gundam kind of gets there eventually. I think it's that Tomino has a very focused, like, thing he wants to do in it, and it's only when we kind of start pulling back from his story, which is, the main kind of conflicts of the Universal Century, and other people start telling stories, that we see the sort of larger, wider scope of the Earth sphere.
That's cool. And I want to stress, my point of view isn't like the correct view. I recognize. I don't think that whole other view is wrong per se, because I think that's very, like, nice. It's just I don't know why my brain just sort of expected that initially. It did, and I think that sort of colored my view just a little bit on how I came away from the show.
I think it's like Zeta doesn't take, like, Star Wars has a very omniscient view. It's still very character perspective driven. However, it is still very omniscient in that it'll cut away and do the Senate scenes, even though Anakin's away, killing people, doing whatever.
And like that's a part of, like, that, even though it wasn't executed very well in just presentation in, like, most of the prequels, I'll admit, I love that part of the universe because it's just so fascinating to me. Yeah,
but that's what I'm trying to say, is, like, Star Wars is omniscient, whereas Zeta and even the original show kind of take the more, like, perspective based. We are not gonna cut away. We're not gonna really inform you as to what's happening outside of what these characters know. And I think the original show does this a lot better, because because I
felt like I had sorry to interrupt, but I felt like I had, like, a lot more of my bearing in the original show than Zeta is, I think, my final point I want to make.
The original show does this better because you have a group of civilians who are brought into military life sort of against their will, and have a lot more questions to ask, whereas the Argama is a group of people who have willingly signed up to the Aeug and that belief system, and so they're gonna follow orders and get informed of whatever Henkin tells them, and then eventually Bright tells them. And so there's less of like a, moment of someone going, what the fuck's going on? Why are we doing this? What's actually happening in the rest of this war? And so you're kind of left to be filled in with the very sparse amounts of narration. And I think that's like a kind of failing of Zeta as a structural whole, is that I don't think it's super clear on like the wider things that are happening. Like when Kamille comes back from space, from Earth, sorry, like the 2 times that he goes down to Earth, there should have been at least one scene where Bright catches him up on what happened while he was away, because
yeah,
like I say,
a debrief.
Yeah, like I say, it's very perspective based. If Camille's not in space, we're not really seeing what's going on in space. It's not until he gets back that we switch back to seeing that. And so I think like there should have just been like one conversation, whether it was Bright because he is the captain of the ship debriefing Kamille, or like just Char kind of being like, oh yeah, while you were away this happened, Faz being a bitch again, or
She's not being a bitch, she's just being a little annoying. Maybe it had something to do with the fact that you brought 2 fucking kids with you, Char. Why'd you do that? Who are these people? We never got an explanation for why they're there, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they do just sort of appear. They're war orphans that Char found and was like, yeah, you're coming with me.
Is that kidnapping? We don't know.
I don't know. They're war orphans. Can they be kidnapped?
Yes. I mean, it's nice that they're giving them some sort of home. It just sucks that home is a warship.
Yeah. I have seen people headcanon that like Char wanted to try and recreate the original White Base atmosphere as much as possible as like the instigation of new type developments.
You see, that would make sense.
That would make sense if I thought Char had the capability of thinking that way.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing, though, and like nothing about Char as he acts in this show. As much as I love him in this show, because he is one of the best characters in the show, I kind of get it now. But absolutely nothing like portrayed to him gives me the idea of he wouldn't fucking do that.
No,
he wouldn't think to do that. I mean, if he had the idea, he'd do it, but I don't think he'd get the idea.
I don't think he'd get the idea, because like. He kind of cares about new typism to an extent, but only so far in that it serves his dad's ideology of space colony self-determination, that like by being out in space and living in a colony, you're gonna naturally develop something that you can't develop on Earth, and that's his I think it was his dad that posited that would be the next stage of human evolution.
Okay.
Again,
sure.
That becomes a thing when you see the origin. You understand that a lot better. It's not something that, I mean, there's no real space for that sort of backstory to exist to that extent.
No.
Here in the original, but yeah, no, like Char doesn't think like that. That's not fundamentally the kind of thing he would do.
I do kind of like the whole idea that like we really don't get enough like backstory on just what happened between the original show and now, like with Char specifically. We get hints, obviously, with Minerva.
I feel it feels like there should be an R there, and there's just not.
I know. I'm gonna accidentally call her Minerva multiple times. You're gonna have to correct me every time. But, Minerva.
Dumbass name, but yeah, it is. That's correct.
Yeah. We see he was with the sort of Xeon remnants for at least a little while. He's definitely familiar with Haman.
Yes. Yeah, because we see like
Haman, okay.
We see him like in a flashback with her when she was younger. And like it does kind of remind me that like Haman's like 22. She's giving MILF energy is the only way I can really...
He's giving the energy, yeah. I think in terms of character design, I would have guessed, like... No, I could have imagined her being that young, being honest.
I don't know, I've never seen it, but I think it's because of the whole, like, most of the characters are, like... The central characters, at least, are 15, 16. And it's the same with Judao in Double Zeta. You know, he's, like, 16 at most. So there's that dichotomy of, like... It's the classic anime thing of ages become very nebulous.
Yes. Everyone in anime is, like, mentally 10 years older than they actually are. But, like, I would have guessed, like, 27-ish if you had to, like, ask me.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised. But, like, yeah. Char definitely knows her. They've definitely got history. We don't really see much into it, and of course that goes into the whole POV thing. We're not really seeing any of this from Char's POV.
Yeah.
He's just sort of prominent.
Yeah, because we aren't seeing Amuro's POV, so we're not going to see Char's because
fucks off, like, after a couple episodes.
And without his boyfriend, we're not going to see much about Char.
Yeah, what's the point, really? Happy Pride again,
Happy Pride. This is coming out in July, but happy Pride, guys.
Happy late Pride.
Happy late Pride to the Bicon Char as the bull.
Yeah, but, like, we don't really see much of the history between, like, what happened in the original show and in Zeta with Char. But, like, it really, it's an interesting plot thread that I feel like we're probably not gonna fully get.
I'm trying to remember if it does get fully explored at any point, and I'm coming up blank. Because I don't even know if it comes up in Double Zeta, because the sort of focus for Haman is very different, and I don't know whether to bring it up because I guess it's kind of a spoiler for Double Zeta.
Don't.
Okay.
I want to go in as blind as possible because I do want to watch it, and I am looking forward to when we eventually get to it.
It's just
and
that,
I will
like,
probably be keeping most of this in mind. So
yeah, I think why he left the Xeon, even though it's kind of baffling he stayed in the first place, but I sort of understand it from Char's perspective of, well, I've killed the rest of the Zabbies, let's try and kind of make sure Minerva's brought up kind of okay.
Yeah, I can sort of buy it. Like, my initial pointing on bringing up this whole thing as I'm re-articulating again was that we don't fully understand what Char's like deep underlying motivations actually are, because I don't know if it's just me, but I never got the sense that he fully went in on the whole whatever Aayug is supposed to represent.
So Char's just a liar, I think,
I know.
And I mean that to the core. He believes in whatever someone wants to hear in that moment in time is exactly what he's gonna say.
I did sort of get that, because as likable as he is in this show, and as much as, like, I was ready to believe that, you know, oh, he's definitely matured over time. He's definitely, like, gotten better. He's not the petty little shit he used to be.
No, he is.
There was always that little, there is that little part in the back of my mind that, like, no, he is. He's got his own agenda somewhere here. He did say he's never betrayed anyone before in his life, and that's just a fucking lie.
But to him, like, he believes that. That's, I think, the only thing he says in the entire show that I think he 100% fully actually believes.
Yeah, it was very apparent during, like, the whole speech episode where, like, when they're, like, on the actual, I don't know if it's the capital of the Earth Federation, but where, like, their Senate is, like, sitting.
Yeah, Dakar, wherever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And he gives that speech on, like, what the Aayug's goals are, which is it, like, even then I'm not entirely sure what it was. Do they want to, like, move everyone into space?
Yeah, they want to move everyone off Earth to begin a conservation project of protecting Earth, because as is not clear in this one specifically, it's only really very minimally brought up in the original show as well, Earth's fucked, like, very fucked. Oh, I think you've frozen. Okay. That is 39 minutes. Okay, you're back.
Yeah. So, massive technical difficulties, like, just the moment you started speaking.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I have noted the time, so I'll cut it out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Continue.
what's not really... Well, it is kind of brought up if you're paying attention 100% to the dialogue, but like it's only minimally brought up in the OG and kind of here as a thing. Earth's fucked. Like environmentally, it's like, you know, pretty fucked. The colony drop did not help. How it didn't kill everyone, don't know. Just that is like, you know, bigger than the one that killed dinosaurs, and yet, but that's besides the point.
We've discussed this already. We don't need to go through it again.
So what the Aug are going for is that everyone needs to just move from Earth, because no matter what people do, whether it is continuing to fight wars that are going to drag Earth into it directly, or simply just being on the planet and developing things like mobile suits, stuff for space travel, rockets, all this sort of stuff, it's, you know, perpetuating the cycle of killing the Earth. And so they want everyone to just fuck off of the Earth and move into the space colonies, because, you know, there's kind of infinitesimally more space in space.
In space. Exactly, yeah. I mean, logistically, I don't know how the fuck that's gonna work. I don't know how many people are still on Earth.
That's a good question.
I had to look up, by the way, just like the whole idea that like Earth, from what I was able to briefly look up, is it like mostly elites that are still on Earth, and like most of like the quote-unquote common people moved up into space?
Yes, because this comes up in the original show where Amro's from Earth originally, and that gets him some shit from people on White Base because he's seen as being part of the elite class. And like, that's maybe not 100% true in the scope of it, but for the people who live in space, that's the belief, is that the elite are the people who were born and live and have raised and can move to Earth.
And that little bit of context did sort of click more things into place and made it make a lot of things make more sense just on that front, because I was like, oh, okay. Because when you don't know that, it just kind of gives off the idea of, so you want just a whole bunch of people to either move out of their homes and like basically displace them into a new place, because I mean, yeah, the Earth is fucked, but you can't really do that to people, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's a noble idea in the sense of that we need to care for the Earth, and by caring for the Earth, I think it is the best thing that humans simply are not here. But yeah, of course that's going to cause conflict, you know?
Yeah. And like, it's very not clear cut, because again, even if it's just like a bunch of whole elite humans, quote unquote, that's still, you know, people's homes that you're kind of just telling them to fuck off from.
Yeah, but you know, I get it. I fully am kind of for it in this universe of like, yeah, there's a lot of colonies. They're very spacious. They can easily build more of them because there's a lot of space. I think
okay,
it's
yeah.
I think
if it's easy to build more, then like I kind of understand it a bit more, because I'm still framing this in like a fully realistic sense of like, how much like resources do you need to build an entire colony? That's got to be something.
Like they mentioned that like they built a solid 3 or 4 of them in the time between end of original series and now in Zeta.
Okay, cool.
So yeah. Plus there's like, I think this is something that continually gets lost. Each side is a group of colonies. There's 7 sides in total, and there's a minimum of 30 colonies to each side.
Okay, that brings the scale in a bit more.
A lot of them. So there is a lot of real estate space already within space. And at least a few of those colonies specifically are industrial, specifically dedicated to making the stuff to make more. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That at least that brings in a lot more context, and with the added context of, you know, a whole bunch of, you know, the old Earth population has already moved, or from what I read, did they get like kicked out into space basically by the more elite humans?
I don't know.
Yeah, with all that, it's just when you hear it for the first time without any of that context, you kind of get the idea that is the AUG actually okay? They're basically saying leave your homes and just join space even if you don't want to.
Yeah. I don't know. I get it, but also I'm like, no, I'm fully on the AUG side on this one.
I guess I'm just sort of generally supportive, but I have reservations that I think need answered first before I'm fully on board. But well wisher. I think this sort of just implies why when I view stuff like this, I get politically minded just in universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the practicalities of what we're fighting for here, which is clearly shouldn't be the full focus of what the show is going for.
Yeah. But equally, it's doable. There's already a sizable portion of Earth's population in space, and they can put the rest of them there. Like that's simple matter.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just get on the ship.
Get your shit. Get it all together in a bag.
Yeah. Especially if Earth is definitely going to die.
Oh, yeah.
That's just inevitable.
Like, that's just kind of inevitable at this stage of where Gundam's at. And,
I believe it.
Only gonna get made worse later. Just
cool.
Made so much worse.
Yeah. But, like, my main point back to Char, because that's what this conversation was originally about.
Yeah.
I didn't get the idea that he fully believed that in, like, the purest sense. I always got the sense that, like, he's got his own plan back in there somewhere. I'm just waiting for it to, like, the trap to spring, basically.
Yeah. No, he was kind of like, he believed in the AUG, or at least in the crew of the Argama and what they were doing.
I believe that.
Yeah. It's maybe the abstract of it all that he doesn't necessarily fully commit to. But, that'll wait until Char's counterattack.
Yeah, it's just the fact that I know that there's something called Char's counterattack coming this in, which, again, sounds so much like, in my mind, I keep reading it as Char's revenge, which is like, okay, something's gonna happen with him that's gonna be very, hostile.
Okay. Sure.
That's what it sounds like to me.
I'm just saying sure, like, I don't know what else to say. I can't say anything else without spoiling it, is what I'm saying.
Okay, cool. I'm noting down everything you say and the tone you say it.
At some point, I can't respond without spoiling larger things about the universe that we're not at yet.
And thank you, but it also frustrates me. It's not rational.
Something I was talking about, though, is, like, Char leaving the Zeon and switching to the AUG. Which, kind of becomes more apparent, more from, like, because Char isn't in it, in Double Zeta, more from, like, a contextual standpoint, it becomes apparent why he ditched Zeon in Double Zeta, because you find out more about the state of Zeon currently, the fact that they're not technically Zeon, they're technically Neo Zeon.
Yeah. And like, Zeon was like the colony?
Zeon was a co-opted name. So Zeon was the name of Char's dad.
I remember that. Yeah.
And so he was a philosopher / politician who proposed the idea of new typism and wanted to progress the idea of colony self-determination and independence. And eventually he was assassinated, and that idea and his name was co-opted by the Zabi family to found a kingdom, a monarchy. So it's not fascism. It's technically not the colony so much as their idea. Like their like group
entity.
Yeah, they built it. The Zabis created the Principality of Zeon, and they were living on a colony, but you know, kind of the nebulous part of Gundam is that there's a lot of colonies, so to be part of one single colony isn't necessarily like a huge thing. It's more so the like side that it is from, and they were side 1. Yes, side 1 or side 3. The one that's separated massively from the rest of them.
Yeah, you talked about that last time, how it's on like a whole other side of the Earth compared to the rest of them.
So yeah, you'll kind of it becomes more apparent that like maybe even the ideals that Char has from his like dad and stuff like that, and what he thinks Zeon should be, aren't necessarily the direction that Zeon would go in post Zabi.
Yeah.
And you know, that's Haman has a lot to answer for that, and we'll get there. We'll see.
Yeah,
that.
we can definitely tell she's like, you know, continuing to carry that flag.
Yeah.
She's the main one behind it, even though like Minerva's there, but she's a child.
Yeah, she is a child. Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice, very sweet. You definitely get the idea that she's got no idea what she's actually saying. Like in the grand scheme, she's just, you know, a child that's been brought up like this.
Don't worry about Minerva, she's chill.
She seems chill. She's an 8-year-old. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. And despite the people she's around, she'll turn out all right.
Okay, cool. Good for her. Proud. It's definitely like Haman that's like the main antagonist on that side.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one behind the actual power there.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating, and like I hate to say it, it is like one of the most fascinating parts of the show, like since the moment she showed up.
Yeah, well that's what Double Zeta's about, so you know.
Maybe I'll love it. Like, just that. And not just because I find Haman hot. That's not the point. It's true, but it's not the point.
Canon event.
I mean, can you blame me?
No.
Okay, one aspect I want to talk about. The cyber new types their whole thing is fucked. Right?
Oh yeah. We kind of talked about them not really being real new types in the last episode, that they're enhanced humans. They are people who one specific lab have churned all these guys out specifically to try and manufacture new types, and
we can see mentally it did not do any of them great.
It fucks them up real bad.
Really? I couldn't tell.
You know, you got Four's whole deal, who shows up here again, dies.
In an episode where her name is said like 60 times.
Yes.
I did another fucking edit of that, just like compiling them, and it's 2 minutes long.
And then we meet Rosamia, who's childlike is the best way to describe her.
She looks like she's older than Kamille, but she clearly acts like and claims to be his younger sister.
Yeah.
He's already like what, 17?
Yeah, he's like 16, something like that.
So she's gonna be like 14.
I mean, she's physically an adult. She has mentally regressed because of the new type, the cyber new type experimentations. Yeah.
Is she actually Camille's sister, by the way?
No.
It kind of didn't seem clear. Cool.
No, she's absolutely not. Because even Camille's like, I don't have a sister. I think I would know about that.
Yeah, and I kind of got that thing, but like, it's the fact that like everyone just kind of played along pretty quickly that made me be like, so is this drawing on something like an actual sister he had and he just didn't talk about until now? I think
specifically Camille's like, I can see that she is mentally fragile. I probably shouldn't push her, yeah, and like, and also there's the thing of like, he doesn't consciously realize it until much later, but he's very unconsciously aware of the fact that she's a cyber new type, even to the point that when he's having a conversation with Char, he puts words in Char's mouth, and Char's like, I didn't say that, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that happened, and every character was like, you didn't fucking say that, what are you talking about?
Which I'm not sure whether to read as like, Kamille having a new type moment and sensing Char's underlying intent and feeling towards Rosamia, or him just having such an underlying mental problem with her that he's like, someone's got to say it. I need someone else to say it so I can say it.
Yeah, like I honestly, I feel like that's like a whole up to interpretation thing, like intentionally, and that's great. Love it, love that. I like how a whole theme with Kamille as well. Like, obviously, because his parents die, like a few episodes in, he's constantly searching for just any sort of found family, kind of like what happened on the White Base that just isn't fully forming here in the way it did back then.
Yeah.
Because every adult here is just failing him, like, constantly.
I wonder if that's also like a thing that Tomino had in mind when working on Zeta, is that even though you can try and instigate all the same elements of something, you're never gonna be able to reclaim that feeling or that sense of something, like almost like an anti-nostalgia thing,
which I'm all for, because like, living in an age where so many, like, to go outside of Gundam for a second, so many fucking franchises are just desperately trying to recapture a nostalgia bait or like some sort of legacy familiarity in substitute of an actual story. I am all for stories that tell nostalgia to go fuck itself at this point. So that's cool, and I do like just the more practical idea of that. Sometimes it's just not going to happen with a group of people. They're just not going to click in the same way that another group of people are, and that's human.
And I think putting Bright directly into that situation again is a stroke of genius, and if that's what Tomino was going for, because it's like, this guy's been through it. He does not want fundamentally to experience anything like White Base ever again. He's
lived that. He's done.
He has a wife. He has kids. He does not want to have to go through what he went through in the White Base with a group of civilian dysfunctional brats again.
Yeah. He's been on that ride.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be on it again.
He's been there. He's got the t-shirt. He doesn't want another one.
He's gotten the picture at the end of the ride. He's cool. It's framed somewhere in his house. He just wants to see his kids now, damn it.
But Char, who didn't experience any of that camaraderie, that building sense of like going through a war and actually like realizing how deeply you can care for people that you're with, like of course he's gonna want to try and get that mythic ideal of the White Base, because he was alone during the 1 Year War. He was on his single-handed vendetta against the Zabbies, and so he wants to recreate that here.
And I like it's really not emphasized at all, but I like the idea, or just the implication, that Char got to the end of all of that. It ties back to the whole what he was doing, like what caused him to leave Zeon, and that he went through all of that and kind of realized, I don't know what to do with myself anymore, because I've done the main thing I've been working basically my entire adult life towards.
I think that's sort of just how you can describe Char, even after you've seen Char's counterattack, is that after he's killed the Zabbies, he simply doesn't have a direction. He doesn't have a guiding principle or moral base to put him, you know, to somewhere that'll be like a functionally stable part of his life. You know, he leaves Zeon because he's like, well, I killed all of them. You know, I can see the writing on the wall with Minerva. She's not going to turn out the way I'm hoping for because Haman's here. So I'm going to move on to the Aeug. He goes through that with the Aeug, and he's like, well, fuck, all of my friends are dead now. I don't
He ends up being its leader, and he clearly does not want
that. He's like, okay, cool. People think I'm dead. I can leave again. And then, you know, we'll see him back again and Char's counterattack. And we'll probably run through this conversation again where I can add more into this. But he is a person who has lost any sense of guiding
motivation.
light. Yeah, he doesn't. I think it's not that he's unmotivated, it's that he doesn't have one singular thing that he is motivated for. His motivations will shift to just be whatever the situation is directly calling for his own immediate survival.
Yeah, and I do think it is telling that it feels like one of the most outwardly emotive expressions we ever get from him is when he first comes back to like the Neo Zeon side and he sees what Minerva's like now, and like he hears her just talking about like all this rhetoric that she clearly has got no idea what any of it actually means, and he's very clearly pissed off. Like he goes into like a whole outburst against them and stuff, and he has to kind of control himself again. And that was fascinating to see, just for like a little bit, to be like, there you are, you petty fucker. I knew you were in there somewhere.
So, yeah. I think he's also... I think that ties into, like, he's someone who'll regret everything that he decides to do for one reason or another after killing all the Zabbies, because... Like we've been saying, he doesn't have motivation, he doesn't have something guiding him specifically in one direction, and so he's making all these decisions, shifting factions and doing all this shit. And so like we see directly when he meets Minerva again, he's like, fuck, maybe I shouldn't have left, but there's no going back now.
Yeah, like you can clearly tell he has a moment of, I should have stayed here and actively been a voice to guide her in a more reformed centered mindset, because, you know, could have been important. Just not giving up on her would have been great.
This man fears leadership. He fears being a leader.
But everyone keeps wanting to come around to him as a leader, because he seems like the leadership type, but he's like, no, that's not what I'm doing. Because
he is charismatic.
I'm a torpedo.
He has all of the traits that a leader needs. It's why everyone in the fandom fucking loves this man.
Clearly.
Even if he becomes problematic.
I mean, technically, look, no matter what his goals were in the original series, he was still fighting for the space Nazis, like, throughout all of it.
Of course, yeah.
That's still problematic.
Yeah. But yeah, he has all the makings of a leader. He's constantly in situations where, like, he could become a leader, and he'll run away from it, until he stops running away from it, and, you know, we'll get there.
I know we'll get there.
Do you have any other points? Because I'm...
Yeah. It's annoying that it feels like so much of this conversation does kind of depend on, oh, we'll see this in the next thing, or we'll see this later on down the line, because there is a whole lot, I think, to discuss about it, but there's also just a complete absence of... not substance, but just sort of anything I can really get my, like, bearings on. Like, still, like, because it's that whole, you know, very focused on the POV thing, it means we're left out of a lot of inner details that, like, I'm kind of just craving.
Yeah. I think a problem with, like, Zeta's, is pacing. Like, I don't think the show... I think the show's maybe a little too long, and I think it could probably do with trimming down the episodes a little bit to have a more concentrated, like, approach to the story it's trying to tell.
It does feel like there is quite a bit of filler. It's weird to call it filler, because it doesn't feel like there's any episode that's pointless, mostly, but it definitely feels like there are parts of the story you can just omit, and you won't really lose that much in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I think it says a lot that, you know, this is a what, like 25-hour long show in all, and I think a lot of the dialogue is very easy to just glaze over and not pay attention to, and you come back and you're like, okay, we're just talking about the same thing we were talking about 5 minutes ago. That's awesome. Or, you know, like,
or sometimes we just start suddenly talking about something that was last focused on 30 episodes ago. 40 episodes even. Like, who was the character that just came back, like, way after the fact?
Rosamia. We see her once, and now Kamille doesn't know, like, because he only fights the mobile suit, but like when he's on Earth, he encounters her and someone else who I think may die. I can't remember. This is how inconsequential this whole encounter actually is. And then yeah, we meet Rosamia again, like in episode 38 or something like that. And this is like, you know,
like
20,
way later.
Yeah, 20 odd episodes later. To the point, I don't blame you for forgetting that was her. I just, you know, I probably wouldn't have. I don't think I picked up on it the first time I watched the show. I think I only picked up on it when I played one of the games, like one of the Dynasty Warrior games, because like you encounter her in one of the earlier missions and like it shows up with the name, and I was like, oh, cool, okay.
And like and then there was also the opposite thing happened where just suddenly her, we'll call it Rosami's like handler or whatever, Lieutenant Gate, just pops up.
Oh yeah.
In one of the episodes at the start, like we're already supposed to know him, and as far as I remember, he didn't show up at all. I don't know who he is.
Because I offhandedly joked and said, "Who's this blonde twink?" Thinking that you'd be like, this isn't helpful. Who are you talking about? And you immediately knew who I was talking about.
Yeah, because I brought it up immediately when he popped up, like, who is this? Why are you acting like I should know who this is? This is no one.
I do think, like, I don't know, I don't want to pass this one off as intentional, but there is, like, a small head canon that I'm maybe
you
just
can't headcanon your way out of this one.
That I think a lot of characters kind of come and go, and at least on the like antagonistic side, on the Titan side and stuff, because of that nature of they are a much more organized military force. So they're unlike the Aeug, where they can just fully pursue personal vendettas. Like if they want to go after like, you know, Paptimus, Shiroko, or like Haman or whatever, they fully have the autonomy to just chase them to the ends of the earth. You're not gonna go away, Shocker.
Shocker! Jared!
Whereas, like, for pretty much all the members of the Titans, they're, you know, the max that we meet is like a lieutenant. And so they all need to follow orders. They all need to go where they're told to go, which is why, like, Rekoa jumps from, like, 3 ships when she switched to the Titans, you know.
Oh, yeah, we gotta talk about that as well, by the way, now that
Rekoa just decides, fuck it. I want dick.
It's amazing how a character that was just sort of a nothing in the first half, just sort of notable. I think we talked about it, that we mainly just kind of confused her for like Emma sometimes, because they seem sort of similar. She's awful in the second half. I hate her so much in the second half, because suddenly I'm gonna say it like this, she just becomes a TERF. Like halfway through for some reason, like just a completely internalized misogynist.
She's fully just going on about gender stereotypes and norms, and like, okay, you signed up for war. I don't know what you expected to see here.
Like suddenly, like in the episode she defects, like an episode beforehand, she starts talking about, you know, I was never really an ideological type person. I mainly just fought just for the sake of fighting, or whatever the hell that.
I don't think you end up in the Aeug on the Argama of all ships without having some kind of ideological drive.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, but clearly Rekoa says, fuck you to that whole plot line. But then, suddenly, she meets Shiroko, and I was so fucking convinced that Shiroko's, like, weird new type powers or whatever just had mind control as well. or some kind of mind implant, because he touches her face, and immediately there's like a spark. Or some sort of, like, realization, and I thought, he's implanted something in her brain that's going to make her like a double agent, or like a sleeper agent or whatever. That never gets like brought up as a thing.
No, because it's she has a new type flash when they come in contact. So she realizes that he is also a new type, and realizes he's quite a powerful one. What's not really expanded upon is that Shiroko immediately knows why Reko is there, and like that's why he lets her escape, because he knows like what it is that she's doing, but also he thinks that his charm, seductiveness,
the weirdest part of this whole second series is just all around him, and that he's somehow portrayed as the most charismatic person in the universe, and it's like, how?
I think
because he's creep central.
I do think it does somehow come down to the new type abilities. I don't think it's mind control and like a specific.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of it's like a focus thing, but I kept getting the sense of like he's got some sort of pull.
Yeah.
But I'm not even sure he's aware he's doing.
I think he has like so much confidence in himself that it does cause like some kind of new type like attraction resonance thing.
Because like something happens with like, is it Yazan?
Oh yeah, the guy who keeps just fucking disappearing and showing up every 5 episodes.
Yeah, the guy who was like seemed like he was gonna be another major arsehole and then just disappeared throughout a good chunk of it. But like they make a point to say that, oh, I thought he was gonna be a lot more like confrontational with Shiroko, but he's just suddenly like really cool with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, that's just new type charisma.
Yeah, I think it is like a charisma thing. Like I think it's that very kind of you know, again, sort of dictatorial trait where it's like these people come to power not necessarily through having genuine earnestness in the way they interact with people, but they have some kind of inherent natural charismatic ability to like just talk to people and they, you know, believe whatever they say type thing.
Just spout whatever bullshit and like people just believe them for some reason. Like in all intents and purposes, Shiroko is basically another Zabi, just not part of that family. Mm-hmm. Which is cool. Again, it's that another parallel between Zeon and the Titans that like is really interesting. It's just my main point is that if it ain't mind control, then Reko is just awful.
Oh, like I mean, I think Reko does just kind of suck. And she can, you know...
She sells out her entire faction friends or whatever she had there just because, quite honestly, and I put this down to a writing thing more than anything, she's a character that just needs a man to tell her what to do, apparently.
Yeah, it's... yeah.
And I hate that. I hate that so much as just a character, because she seemed relatively strong before then, and then she just sells everyone and herself out for no reason other than... I'm a woman, I must do that. Tomino
can be a very baffling writer at times. It's, you know, sometimes you think, oh, you know, I finally sussed the man's ideological, you know, beliefs out. He's not exactly subtle in the things that he believes and the way he writes stuff. And then stuff like this comes up and you're like, actually, no, you are a fucking mystery to me. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about? I know. Okay, so here's the thing as well. I did look up like a little bit of like stuff like beforehand, just, you know, finally being able to understand what other people who had talked about me about the show were actually talking about.
Yeah.
But like I did see a common thing where it's just like, oh yeah, Tomino's gender politics are incomprehensible.
Yeah, no, 100%. From for some stuff you can go, okay, I think he believes that like people can just sort of, you know, do what they want, they can be who they want to be, that gender norms suck and all this sort of shit. And then you have a character like Reko and it's like, I think you want me to believe she's evil, but this is such like a late game pull, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and like the way you're spouting it is that you've thought this for a while, and this feels like very fundamental to like not just the character's worldview, but maybe the writer's worldview. But then again, she's evil, and there's again best character Emma. Every time this comes up, she's like, "What the fuck? Fuck off! What are you talking about? This is bullshit."
I think
you go.
I was just gonna say, I think that's sort of the problem with Rekoa's like final betrayal to the Titans sort of does just simply become incomprehensible, because it's like, a lot of other stuff you can understand why people's, like, especially the characters, like, what ideologically drove them to do certain things. It's like, okay, Sirocco's an asshole, and he's a creep and all this sort of stuff. But, you know, he craves power. That's his thing. Rekoa just suddenly going, actually, I'm gonna go stay with this guy now. It's we don't really, even when she says, like, tries to lay it out at the end, it's not clear what actually drove her to this, and so it becomes like suddenly her character arc makes no sense.
Yeah.
You know.
It's weird because again, it's not even just that, like, it's incomprehensible to us. It seems incomprehensible to the characters as well.
And I don't know if that's meant to be, like, maybe a slight intentional thing of, you know, not everyone makes sense.
No.
I feel there's better ways of doing it, though.
Yeah, like, the way it comes off, it's just like, you had no idea what the fuck to do with this character, did you?
Mm-hmm.
The only little, like, grain of sense that came from all this is in her fucking last words, where, to me, it kind of came off that, like, oh, she's not just been, like, felt like this for a long time. She's been actively, like, humiliated and, like, disregarded her entire life. And so what's happened here is that she's basically internalized all of that and believes that is the best she can do. One, you could have spent all these 50 episodes actually laying the groundwork before shoving it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a failure right there.
Yep.
But also, two, it doesn't make me feel any worse for her when she's literally gassed multiple colonies at this point.
Yeah, there's also the fact of, like, the person that we see her having, like, a romantic interest in prior to Sirocco is sure fucking asnable.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that plank of wood isn't giving her anything from moment one, and I don't know how she saw that as, like, oh yeah, we had something, but then he started disregarding me, and it's like, no, he didn't regard you from the moment that this started.
Yeah, y'all had one kiss, and it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, like, that man does not sleep with women. He is bi, but he's still in denial about something.
He's bi, but like, I mean, it's more like 99% gay.
Yeah. If you're not called Amuro Ray,
he's not interested. Or what was the Zabi prince's name?
Oh, Garma.
Garma? Yeah. If you're not Amuro or you're not Garma for, like, that brief scene, yeah, I'm sure he's still very confused about what he felt with him. He doesn't care.
He is pining for a man who is light years away and a man who is dead. You're not gonna compete, girl.
Yeah, just fucking accept it. Just do just cope with it in the way most people like you cope, and just, I don't know, watch heated rivalry or whatever.
Yeah.
There are ways you can deal with this, and it's fine. Don't gas people. That is not the way to deal with this.
The colony gassing thing is so funny because I mentioned that I can't remember if I brought it up in the first episode, but I definitely mentioned it when we were watching the show of, like, people just start disregarding this treaty of, like, no nukes, no poisonous gases, all this sort of stuff, like, on both sides. And then the Titans comically, for, like, 3 episodes in a row, are like, what if we gassed a colony?
Yeah.
Like,
that
okay.
Seems like a cool thing to do. Why don't we just do that?
And then again, Rekoa has the audacity to get pissed off that the Eug show up late to something she didn't even warn them about.
Yeah, like, her whole beef at one point with, like, Eug in a battle is like, why didn't you stop me in time? And it's like, girl, you held the trigger. The responsibility's still on you.
This is just as inconsistent as their ability to spell the word danger.
Oh, I love Dangar. You're never taking Dangar away from me.
I love that it'll go from being spelt correctly into the next shot being misspelt. That's just...
I meant to bring this up when I was watching it, but, like, so many episodes after, like, the second time it's like, a bomb that says Dangar on it, and they make sure you read it because they zoom in and have it like the word fade into you. They want you to read Dangar. It's unavoidable, but then like in one of the last few episodes, there's like a hallway with like a danger sign, and it's spelled danger.
Well, no, this is the thing.
It's spelled right.
The Dangar that we see on the poison capsules, the shot before the close up, it has it spelled correctly. That happens both times that they try to gas the colony, that the wide shot has it spelled correctly, but the close-up is misspelled as Dangar. And then you've got danger when Emma's dying, and then when Kamille leaves, it's got locked misspelled right next to it.
Okay, it's very clear one of the artists didn't know how to spell in English, and one of the artists did, and they did not communicate. No. I love shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, anime like this, where it's just, you can see they're trying, but they're just not getting it right, but they're too confidently wrong. There's also, to go off the Rekoa thing as well, there's also like the flip side of her on the Titan side, which is Sarah. Who's not given as much, let's call it incomprehensible depth in air quotes.
Yeah.
She's just an idiot.
Yeah, she's obsessed with Shiroko, and I think for her I think it's because she's I got the idea that she seems younger. Yes,
like more
that's
similar to Kat's age, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like for her, it comes down to like impressionability. She's young, she's impressionable, and so she meets Shiroko, and so this older, charismatic guy, you know, has influence over her, and then she meets Katz and Kamille, who sort of begin to shift and confuse her worldview.
Yeah, you know, because they're treating her like an actual human, and she's like, "Whoa, what the fuck?"
And they're
do that?
sort of more around her age, and so they have that sort of like on level approach to conversing with her.
She's being de-radicalized by them.
Yeah. So even though she is confused by the end, and even when we see her I almost called it Force Ghost. It's not the new type apparition. You know, she's still confused there. She kind of tries to protect Shiroko, but she's not like wholeheartedly doing it. Kamille,
she's doing it because that's what she kind of expects herself to do, and it's only when Katz comes in, it's like, you don't need to do that anymore. She's like, yeah, you're right, I really don't.
So like she's confused, but her arc isn't confusing like Rekoa's.
Like, she's a lot more understandable than whatever the fuck's happening with Rekoa.
Oh god, I almost forgot about Rekoa's whole shtick at the end.
I think, just to go off of Tomino's whole incomprehensible gender politics, I think the best way I ever saw it described was in some sort of thread or review I saw, which was like, Tomino comes off as a guy that seemed like he wants to be a feminist, but he's still kind of too bogged down in post-war Japan patriarchal thinking that he just can't quite unpack. Yeah,
I think that's potentially true, because he's definitely at least in some sense of the word progressive, because he still does interviews, and he's an old man who doesn't have a filter, and he's very clearly stated that he does not agree with, you know, the current Japanese government and prime minister and the things that they believe in, the things that they're trying to achieve, and draws parallels with all the things that he is you know, explicitly against within the Gundam universe, the stories he tells there. So he is consistently like a very sort of like I use the word lightly, progressive, because you know,
he's still like an older Japanese man, and he was clearly, you know, again, had a lot of post-war Japan patriarchal upbringing and all the other stuff like in between that like clearly is gonna do something. It's gonna be like an imprint on your head.
Like I
That's
mentioned in the first episode that you probably have forgotten because you really want to forget about this when you hear about it. This is the man who wrote the novelization of the original series and put in a scene where Sayla gives some of her pubes to Amuro. I'm sure it was Sayla.
Yeah, I did.
One of the female characters does it. I'm sure it was Sayla. Yeah. Also, the whole dynamic of Frau, Sayla, everyone in the original show, the gender politics is insane.
But like the thing is, though, again, Emma exists.
Yeah.
She seems like she's like the most well put together, like mentally female character from what I could see. She seems the most sane.
That's exactly what I mean, though, is like in the original show, you have Frau, who kind of fulfills a motherly role, Mirai, who becomes the love interest of Bright, and that's sort of the definitional thing about her eventually. And then you got Sayla, who is like the only person who kind of has some agency. And then, you know, it's kind of reflective of the three female characters we have here, which is, you know, Sarah, slightly confused, Rekoa, incomprehensible, and Emma, the one person who has agency.
Yeah, but like the thing is, the one person that has agency is also the one that's unequivocally like, this is so fucking bullshit. What are you talking about? This is... You don't need to be a misogynist to yourself or others. Just don't. And it's why she's my favorite character, but that's not the point.
I also do like that, like, as a whole, the kind of actual Universal Century displays a very, like, yeah, gender kind of doesn't matter whatsoever. Multiple characters explicitly say this out loud on both sides.
Yeah. Don't forget Ultimate Ally, Char Aznable.
Yeah. And, you know, there's Abby's, you had Kycilia, you had, oh no, Iselina wasn't, Iselina got fridged, what am I talking about? Anyway.
Yeah, but like, even just in Zeta again, you have Haman, who is like not put down for a gender at all. She has as much power as any of the other major characters by the end. She's never put down, and like, her gender is just not even I mean, she clearly is a woman, but like, it's never like a detrimental thing to her, and it shows that she can absolutely have her as much agency as any of the other male characters. It sucks that that agency is evil. Yeah, but she can do it. Girl boss.
I think that is what makes this so, like, what is the like, because I think the overall Universal Century's gender ideology is that gender doesn't matter. It shouldn't hinder anyone in the things that they're able to achieve, and evidently doesn't.
Yeah.
And so whatever Reko is experiencing must be internalized from something, but
it has to be.
It's so poorly conveyed so late in showing up that it sort of wrecks a lot of the like, at that point that we're seeing, it wrecks that, like, work that this story has put into this.
Yeah, it is an active contradiction to everything else we've been seeing so far, and it just makes me question, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
really, like, what are you talking about?
It's one of those things that it's so it comes out so late, it's so incomprehensible that trying to discuss it is so hard to articulate thoughts properly, because I feel like I could point out many different things that contradict this, and I'm probably forgetting other things, but even then I still feel like it's like, was it trying to be a contradiction in the sense of this one character has experienced something like that in their past and therefore has internalized it, and that is now their driving force? But again, it comes up so late, it's
and it could be completely intentional, like in the like an internalized way, because there are in the real world plenty of women who put down other women just to get ahead. Take a look at any right-wing woman, basically.
Yeah.
But it's just hard to tell if that's intentional or if there's just something else in there that's trying to... I don't know. It's hard to tell.
We've been on this one point for a while now, so
I know, but it's stuck in my mind.
No, I get it, because it, you know, we keep bringing it back, but like, it's such a late thing to happen, and sort of happen so suddenly that it is a sort of very kind of upending thing about the last kind of 6-ish episodes where Requa goes through all of this, which is an insane thing to think when it's a 50 episode show, is that this all happened within like 6 or 7 episodes ish. Jesus Christ. Not her leaving to the Titans. Like, I think the whole idea of Shiroko having some kind of influence and sway to make her betray the Aeug is an interesting concept. I think the actual execution is the problem. Like, once she leaves,
definitely.
Is where it becomes like, what the fuck are you doing? But yeah, any other points? Because we have actually been talking about this for about 90 minutes already, so
it doesn't feel like that.
No.
I'm gonna be honest, it feels like we've just been bouncing around so many different things. Sorry to any listener who thinks this entire conversation is incomprehensible.
To be fair, this is the first time we've ever tackled something as long as Zeta Gundam. I think it's one of the only other times. I think this is the third time that we've done this many episodes within one episode. The only other time was the first half of this, and then Evangelion. So yeah, it's hard to feel like, it's hard to know if we've covered everything, but as we said, the pacing of the show, or as I said, sorry, the pacing of the show is kind of weird, and there's definitely a lot of fluff to Zeta. Not all of it good fluff. I think you know, I always say about the original trilogy edit is that it cuts out far too much of the character development. I think here you could lose a solid 10 episodes at least and not come away with the characters too detrimentally affected by it. You know, you could still squeeze in.
You did say there was like a... You go, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, you could still squeeze in like 4 and Rosamia, those two very important characters to Kamille's character arc at very different times. I think you're about to bring up the Zeta movie edits. Called A New Translation. They are universally not well liked by the fandom. They change a lot of stuff compared to, like, the original series trilogy edit is a straight, like, it is the story of the show. The third movie does the thing of like cleaning up the animation because things were so beyond fucked production wise by the time they got to the last part of the original series run, that they reanimated it. A good chunk of it anyway. There's still scenes in the third movie that are, you know, original series animation, which are, if you watch it on the 4K version, kind of noticeable. There's a distinct difference in how they look. A New Translation, kind of similar in the sense that they definitely reanimated stuff, except they did this all in like 2005. And the reanimated stuff was to change whole bits of the story, I think, to the point that sort of similar to the third movie of the original trilogy, the third movie of Zeta's movie edit is like 75% reanimated, except just to completely change parts of the story.
Yeah, because I do remember, I think you might mention it last time actually, that like the whole setting up the Neo Xeon parts is just not done in the film, or is, like, you said something about how it doesn't really set up Double Zeta as much as this show does.
I think like it very explicitly has like shard eye. So it kind of makes at least Char's counterattack impossible. Yeah. I can't remember what other changes happened. I think they changed Kamille's fate. I think that he doesn't become like that. I think he just survives. But granted, I haven't seen the new translations yet.
Yeah.
Now that I've rewatched the show for this, I'm very likely to watch those soon to get an idea of what they're like. I'm just slightly terrified to do that. They're much shorter than the original trilogy ones. The original trilogies were all pretty much like 2.5 hours, whereas these are 90 minutes a piece, pretty much. So,
well, thank God, because as much as the trilogy movies were fine, they were long.
They were, yeah.
And I get why they were long, but if they were going to be that long, I'd rather watch the show.
Exactly, because you can break things up far better if you're if you're watching the show, because there's episode breaks, so you can just stop when you want to.
Yeah, you can just pause.
Yeah. Can't do that with the movie. Things are gonna slow down and reach certain points. You're gonna be like, oh, okay, I could take a break right about here. But no, the movie's gonna just keep going, so I can't.
Yeah. Cool. My final point on this entire show, by the way, before we wrap this up, because you mentioned Sayla earlier, where the fuck was she?
Oh, Sayla. She was on a beach, just aura farming. Apparently.
Yeah, she showed up for one scene, and that's bullshit, because she should be, like, a very interesting part of just Char's storyline, I feel like.
Yeah. I get the impression that she didn't really know that Char was still alive until she heard that broadcast.
In that case, I feel like she should have been more shocked. She seems sort of like, huh.
Yeah. We won't really see Sayla at all again. I don't think she's in Char's counterattack. I think she briefly appears in like one episode of Double Zeta that exists purely to set up stuff for Char's counterattack. It's sort of the weird thing about the production of those two, is that they kind of happen concurrently. Tomino departed after Zeta ended because Char's counterattack got the green light, and so someone else took over directing Double Zeta, and he was working on Char's counterattack at the same time that this was going on. So
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fucking love that. And I think I know the reason why. I've heard that, like, it's because the voice actress for her was too busy during this time period, so they couldn't get her back.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Everyone would... Sorry, you go.
But also, my mind just goes, why don't you just recast? And I know there's probably reasons, but come on.
Yeah. I mean, she's definitely been recast since, because, well, she passed away, so,
yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, I'm sure there was, like, maybe some contractual thing there. Maybe Sayla couldn't reappear if it wasn't, or maybe just, like, you know, I don't know, Tomino liked that voice cast, and if any of them were unavailable, like, say Shuichi Ikeda wasn't available at all for Zeta, just Char wouldn't have been a character in it, or if whatever the fucking name of Amuro's voice actor is, Toru Fujiwara, that's not it. It's
how could you? That
like
kid is a hero.
If he wasn't available, maybe Amuro would never have turned up. You know, if whoever voices Bright wasn't available, maybe they wouldn't have been there. Maybe that's just, you know, the way it was.
Maybe. Yeah, but, like, that just sucks, because Sayla, from what I remember liking her in the original.
Yeah.
Like, in, like, 79, so it just kind of sucks that she's not a thing anymore. When
Yeah.
You'd think she would be, given her just placement as a character.
Hey, maybe she just doesn't want anything to do with war anymore.
And you know what? Headcanoning that's fair. I'll take that. She deserves that. She doesn't need to be here. She's just in a villa somewhere, just chilling near a beach. Good for her.
Yeah, just listening on her radio to Char.
You know, as you do.
As you do. Anyway, I think that's probably our exhaustive, non-exhaustive discussion of Zeta Gundam. There's stuff we'll have missed. People will be pissed that we didn't talk about that one mobile suit that shows up for one episode or something like that.
Yeah. If you want my opinion on mobile suits, I liked the sort of wild blue half moon design.
Oh, the Hamrabi.
Yeah, that. That was a cool design. For Gundams, sometimes I just like when it's just complete batshit.
Yeah, I this is something I was a little disappointed upon rewatching Zeta, is that I remembered that the antagonistic suits aren't just the most batshit insane thing, because the Gundams are meant to be very functionally guys. Like, that's what I love about like a couple of episodes of Zeta, is that you're kind of just reminded that all the AUG suits are kind of just big guys. Like when Katz, like I think it's Katz, like takes the G Defender and like takes off at one point. Char just sort of with the Yakushiki like peers out the side of the Argama, and I was like, yeah. These are just big guys.
They're almost like Transformers, but they don't have souls.
But like to me, the Titans, the Zeon, Neo Zeon, all of their suits should just be the most incomprehensible war machine that you've ever seen, and we don't really see that until the end when the Quebly shows up.
Yeah, is that Haman's?
That's Haman's.
Yeah,
whatever the fuck that is.
She's got this weird sort of like bug thing. That's her suit, and like I love it. It's distinctive. It's insane. It's that one and the one that Jared gets like right at the end. I
don't know the name of that one.
No, but like I just remember like, the look of it, because it's like, oh, nice one, Jared. I like that it's got a dress.
It kind of looks like something ripped straight out of Gunbuster.
Oh yeah, and I loved it. I love it. That was like great. I could talk about as well how Jared goes from what seems to be like the main antagonist, like in the first episode, to barely even tops 10.
The pettiest bitch you've ever seen.
Yeah, I described him like at one point that like he feels like a school bully that just never got past that mentality, while everyone else has just become like war criminals.
Mm-hmm. You would think like he would have had at some point the realization of like, I may have beef with Kamille, but holy fuck am I on the wrong side of all of this, because he's not operating on anyone else's level in the Titans. Like, they are all just gleefully killing people.
Yeah, but he also doesn't give a shit, because he says at the same time, I just want power. I just want personal power over whatever. That's all that matters to me. So like it makes sense he's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just he's operating at such a small scale petty level compared to the actual fucking fascist dictator wannabes that's like Shiroko and like Jamanov?
Oh, Jamatov, the leader of the Titans.
Yeah, the political leader, whereas like you've got
Bascom.
Bascom, who's like the military leader. Both of them just die.
Evil
like,
looking thumb that you've ever seen.
He looks like a bald foot. But yeah, like I also love the fact that he's got very clear beef with like Kamille, but I don't think Kamille even realizes he exists until he's right in front of him.
Yeah.
Kamille doesn't give a fuck. Even after he kills 4, he doesn't think about him that much.
No. Camille's got other shit to worry about, not whatever Jared's doing.
Yeah. Okay, I think
yes, I think we've gone insane enough with this. So yeah, we've seen the Tears of Time, whatever the fuck that means.
Ratings.
Oh yeah, ratings, because we are at the end. I'm still like, I've made many complaints in this episode, because that's sort of what part of this show is. You need to point out the things that are wrong or mildly annoying or whatever. However, I sat there writing my review, and I just left the score that I gave it last time, which was a 9. However, I'm sitting here thinking, is this...
Oh my god.
A full 10? Is this peak enough to be a full 10? Because I still think it sits very, very highly for Gundam, for me.
Okay.
And that's saying a lot. There's a lot of good Gundam. There's a lot of shit, but there's also a lot of real great stuff.
You really do like Gundam.
I really do like Gundam. Yeah.
So
9 or 10. I don't know. I feel like it could switch depending on the day.
Okay, cool. I feel it is high. It's good. It's definitely good overall as a package, but I feel like I'm more critical on it.
I think reputation has caused an issue for you.
Yeah, and I feel bad because you clearly love this. And I love that you love this. But I feel kind of bad to say I don't quite get why everyone fucking loves this as much as they do.
I think some of it's just purely vibes.
And that's cool. That's fine. This is gonna sound so bitchy. I kind of like substance with my vibes, you know? I don't mean to discredit it, really. Everyone else who loves it, that's cool. I'm happy for you. It's just, I don't think I fully get it quite as much. And so, I gave it an 8 on my Letterboxd review, but I did say just full on. That rating's just based on vibe, like right after I finished that episode. I don't know what solid score I could give it, but it would have to be somewhere between a 7 or an 8.
Damn.
I think it's good. There's a lot of it I did like. It's just I need some sort of stronger overarching storyline that I can follow for me to really love something. And I feel like I didn't get it as much as I expected. And
yeah.
maybe that's on me, but it didn't fully come together as strongly as I wanted it to. I'll rewatch it at some point. I'm sure, like, there's a lot of themes that I liked, but I feel like I had to, like, actively discuss them before I feel like I was getting them.
Yeah.
So, at the highest, an 8. A solid 8. But maybe a 7 as well.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
No. It's fine. Don't.
I am looking forward to more.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch the original series in my own time at some point in the next few weeks, few months even.
Yeah.
I'll watch the origin probably. You've gifted me that, so I have to.
Yeah, I did. I was able to upgrade
It might even be soonish because I'm not against watching anything Gundam like soonish either.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't get the full love for this one that everybody else seems to have.
I think part of it comes down to how much are you just like willing to let some like storytelling issues slide by because there are big cool robots. And I think fundamentally there's just going to be something in some people's brains that see big cool robots and you know.
Yeah, because I will also admit there is a small part in the back of my head that like, why are they all using robots? That's very impractical.
Oh, so there is actually an explanation of why people use mobile suits specifically within Gundam.
Okay.
I know we're trying to end this, and I'm looking at the clock and realizing we're rapidly approaching 2 hours. But
sorry.
Very, very quickly, something I remembered while we were watching Zeta. The reason they use mobile suits and ship-to-ship warfare rather than, like we kind of see near the end of this and the original series, is the colony laser, which are sort of very intentionally depicted as very what's the word? Not inconvenient weapons, but like clunky, yeah. Is because
they're very impractical weapons.
Impractical,
like,
thank you. That's the
sort of point of view. Yeah.
Is because the thing that they keep mentioning throughout both series so far is Minovsky particles, and now these are specifically used in like engines. They become the renewable energy source of the Gundam universe. That's what powers mobile suits. It's what powers the ships and stuff. But they're also used as like an anti-warfare device, but specifically more so like anti-long range device.
I do remember them saying that like they couldn't communicate like with like whatever communications they usually use for like cross space and stuff, and like they specifically it was near the end where like, oh, we can't tell them to like move back or move out wherever because there's too many Minovsky particles or whatever the fuck they're called. And I do remember clocking that and be like, is that the thing that makes all of this make sense in this universe?
Yes,
because
it pretty much is.
on the one hand, I like that there's something that just has it make sense, and it's not just purely because we think it looks cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate there being some groundwork for that. On the other hand, they're just gonna deploy these things whenever it's convenient for the plot, huh?
Kind of, yeah. The idea in universe is that it's meant to make warfare like feel like it costs something, because they're in space. There you have that abstract sense of, well, we're firing a thing real far over there. It doesn't matter what it hits and what the destruction toll is, as long as they don't hit back or they meet our demands or whatever. So the idea is that Minovsky particles prevent that. They make long distance communication slightly more difficult. But they also means that like ships need to engage in warfare like up close, like ships and naval warfare on Earth. And so the idea is that you're meant to feel the impact of the battle that you're taking place in. Is that's what makes it personal. And so the mobile suits are essentially making grunts for footwork, for foot warfare, just obviously, you know, in the vacuum of space, so they can fly and move around and do cool shit. And then new types come along and they can do even more cool shit with bits and funnels and laser beams.
And magic powers, wow. Okay, cool. Yeah, but like, I guess that's one way to offset the little part of my brain that's like, this is all very impractical. This doesn't make any scientific sense.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do any of that.
I think there is something that goes over Minovsky particles a bit more in depth, and I can't remember if it's the Origin or like one of the other OVAs. I remember something with like a newer animation style going over a bit more than like any of the shows now that we're gonna watch go over it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm assuming this is something that Tomino wrote in like a book somewhere around this time.
In the show Bible or something.
In the show Bible or something, yeah. But yes, that's how war works in the Universal Century.
Okay, at least there's an explanation.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy for, even if it's just a thin explanation of this, it just to, you know, explain why on the face kind of stupid shit happens.
Yeah. It also means that like navigationally, if someone launched a nuke, it would have a tough time hitting the correct target.
Okay,
because
the targeting's fucked.
Yeah, because otherwise people are just going to be lobbing nukes constantly because you're in space. Radiation is already there. It doesn't matter if... I'm assuming
it's
to
not
most...
going to have any long-term effects like it does on Earth.
Exactly. So, yeah. Fun fact.
Okay, cool. I'm glad you told me this and the show just didn't.
Yeah. It's sort of the Star Trek thing, though, of like, there's going to be a lot of technobabble that you just sort of need to go with, and you may find out the explanation at some point, but, you know.
Yeah. I may just need to train my brain more to just be more accepting of this bullshit.
Yeah. You know, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff.
Yeah, you know, I fucking love Doctor Who. It should not be a problem for me to just accept things like this. It's like a fundamental rule.
That's the thing, is like, we both are so like heavily into sci-fi that sometimes you come with such like a rational approach to things that I'm like, we both like sci-fi. This should just be the way of it. It should just be a thing that we accept.
I don't know why my brain is like this. It's just sometimes it's like I want to go into this as like hard sci-fi as possible for no fucking reason.
Because sometimes I'm like, I want to just answer with, oh.
And that's fair. You see, I recognize that my questions are meaningless and bullshit, and I should just learn to accept the fun stuff. But like, it's just a little annoying voice in the back of my brain that demands answers. And it is bullshit because like one of my other favorite sci-fi things in recent years is Mass Effect, and that goes so far into explaining all of its concepts or whatever. But fundamentally, they're all on top of just a made-up element that's basically magic.
Yeah.
And that's not mentioning Star Wars, which is just half fantasy.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't even try. So yeah, I get it. I understand I am, on some level, the problem. But I don't know. It hasn't fully clicked with me, and I'm sorry.
Don't worry. I'll make sure it does. Eventually.
That sounds like a threat. I'm scared. Help me.
Well, we got at least 2 more entries that we're definitely watching.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I'm looking forward to them. Yeah, whenever we get to them.
Whenever we
Not
get to
soon.
them. No, we're not doing Double Zeta soon. As much as like I do want to just immediately start rewatching it again, I don't want to do another 2 episodes of the podcast solely focused on something like that, because I'm kind of exhausted and I want to do other things.
Yeah, I have been putting off some of the stuff I did want to watch, like in the last few weeks, just to get through this and focus on this. So I think a break, especially since Double Zeta is what, still 40 plus episodes.
47, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think a break will do both of us good.
And you're gonna want to kill yourself watching the first 25, so you know.
Oh, amazing. I'm so excited.
I'm honestly trying to make it sound so bad that you watch it and you actually enjoy it. Like,
hey, nobody knows what my brain's like. Maybe I will just love it front to back. I don't even know myself anymore.
Anyway,
okay,
this,
we need to finish this.
Yes, this has been this episode of Anime Lane where we talked about the rest of Zeta Gundam. Come back next week. Where actually I have no idea what we're doing, because we are recording this slightly out of sync with everything else. We have not even planned July yet.
It feels like half the time we don't know what's coming up next, so you kind of just have to end the episode with, I don't know what's coming up next.
Yeah, that happens a lot, but sometimes we can. But right now, even more so than ever, I don't know. So we will see you guys next time. Until then, you will see the tears of time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.